the board had asked us to look at how other areas do their advisory board appointments to see if potentially there was another way that could be done. And so at the meeting, that was on the meeting on January 10th that was asked for. And since that time, I've had a couple conversations with the board members. There are 56 advisory boards in the county, and the ones that are appointed by the BCC are the 5 listed here on the screen: the library, the planning and zoning, MMRB, code enforcement, and tourist development, tax, sports incentive. So the current process is that a memo gets sent to the board informing them of a vacancy, and then a memo listing the nominees in order of submission is included on the agenda, and then at the board meeting, the nominations are heard in the order that they are submitted. The first nominee to receive 4 votes is then appointed. If one nominee is submitted, the agenda item is placed on the consent agenda, and if the board approves the consent agenda, that nominee is approved. This is the section of our board procedures that lays out how we do that. That was amended a bit from the way that we did it before, and some of this other language was added. So we reached out to some other jurisdictions, and really the way that it was done was a little bit all over the map, and I shared that with the commissioners, and there was really no one kind of consensus or conclusion that we wanted to move forward with. And so really we're here today to just talk to the commissioners about, and I'm sharing feedback also collectively from the commissioners. Some commissioners thought it would be great to have a ballot. They wanted an update of the people who were listed. They didn't favor going in the order that the applications were submitted. They didn't want nominations from the floor. They wanted a meaningful, impactful process. And so this is just kind of the collective voice, I guess, of all of the commissioners. So really what we're here today to discuss with you is whether you would like to keep the current process or if you have a suggested alternative process. One of the things that has been suggested, as opposed to doing it in the order in which they're submitted, is just taking all of the applicants and then doing them in alphabetical order and presenting them to the board in alpha order so that it's kind of fair and you're not having to try to rush your application in. And again, I just want to remind everyone that these are volunteer positions. So we are hopeful to encourage people to volunteer for these different advisory boards with us.
All right, Commissioner Bonilla.
Yeah, this is only 4 jurisdictions. I know I talked to others at FAC about this, and a lot, some of them use ballots and stuff, so I would have really liked to see a little bit more samples here. I'm just curious too. We were just talking about the Visit Orlando and that we could that we get appointments to that board, but that's not listed here.
Yes, because the Visit Orlando board.
We're just talking about the county's advisory board.
Right.
Oh, you're just talking about the county advice. Okay, so
Right.
I think what we meant was every kind of appointment, though, that we like the appointment process.
Well,
So is this just a sample of?
it was, well, we were talking about certain advisory boards because the topic that came up when this came up was the library board
Yeah,
appointment.
specifically it was about the library board. We expanded a bit to see what was the universe of the other boards, but the board discussion that day was about library board.
And remember, Visit Orlando is a separate entity from Orange County, and they, under their governance structure, has allowed Orange County to make appointments from the Board of County Commission. I don't think, I'm not the attorney here, but I don't think we can mandate to an organization per se that you must do X, Y, and Z.
We can in the agreement.
Yeah, in the contract.
So,
That's a matter of negotiation with the particular organization. And as you know, with Visit Orlando contract, you have those appointments. 2 of those appointments, it is specifically stated in the Visit Orlando contract that they be non-elected officials.
We can change it.
okay.
Yeah, that's up for
You can
negotiation
change
in the
anything
next
as long
contract.
as it's
Okay.
agreed to.
So, but this discussion is just for the Orange County Advisory Boards. It's the distinction that we're
Right.
drawing here.
Yeah, but the rules of procedures that we were looking at was the votes of appointments when the board appoints persons to its various boards and authorities. It may deviate from the normal. I mean, is this the same process, though, that we're following for those other boards as well?
That's a Cheryl question, I think,
I'm
if you understand
I'm
the
asking
question.
whoever can answer that question.
It should be.
Normally, those come back as a separate discussion item. For instance, when a term is coming up, the county administrator issues a memo and delineating that the term is coming up, and it comes to the board for discussion. But there isn't, you don't get a memo requesting for nominations or anything like that.
Okay, but we still follow the same voting process, though. Am I correct or wrong?
I don't think so.
It
You can
may
do it by
differ
motion.
depending upon which board it is. And I don't know what it is all off the top of my head in terms of what the process is for each and every board. You've had instances sometimes where you do it by motion as opposed to by nomination, and it all depends upon, number one, the number of individuals that may be interested in the position, as well as what board it is.
Okay. So my other question, so I guess, I mean, that's something that we'd have to look at how each of these are nominated. So my other question is, would there be an issue with doing ballots? And it's not private ballots either. It's like, let's say we each have a paper, we turn it in, it's there for the public, you know? And you say who voted what, like, so it's,
I
No?
don't think we want to do that. What is wrong with the process now? So let's start. there.
that's a
If-
good question.
I have a comment.
If there's something wrong with the process, we're looking for how do we fix it going forward, so.
Yeah, and
Okay.
so since I did have the floor,
Commission-
I could answer that question, because for me, the problem is that, I mean, it feels really bad to like say no to someone when they're the first one. And it just, I don't know, I just don't like the icky feeling that I get when I have to, just turn someone down to get to the next person. And if I just had to do it all at one time, I would feel better, because then it's not like saying no to one person, yes to the other. You know what I'm saying? It's just that going through that process of just telling someone no.
Somebody's gonna be told no
I know
either way,
somebody's, but if we do it at the same time, it's like, who do you, I mean, even if you don't want to do ballot, if you go down the row, it's like, is it this person, or this person? And, I say a name, then, go down, another person says a different name. At least that way it's like all at once rather than one at a time. And then, so you're not really like saying no to someone to say yes to somebody else.
Okay, Commissioner Uribe.
Yes, so this was a while ago. So, and I don't think I didn't get a briefing with you.
I did brief you all a while back, and then I offered briefings again recently.
I should have gotten a refresher. Okay, so I found out the hard way that basically you have to have people waiting on the sideline. So when there's an opening, you submit it first, because it seems like the first one to hit send is the one that gets it. And there isn't, that doesn't seem rhyme or reason. I would like to see it be a discussion, or we all, how many people want to put in a nomination, and then from then it's a discussion here. But I remember that happened with the Visit Orlando Board. I had put, this was a while ago, when Evelyn, is that her name, Cardenas? Yeah, she was the first one submitted, so she got it, and then I had submitted someone, but because I almost feel like it's our job to kind of have people in waiting, so that when there's an opportunity, it's like the first one to hit send, the first one that sees Cheryl's email and responds is it. And I don't think that's necessarily fair, because we're not all sitting at our computers at every single email that comes in, Cheryl and anybody. So I would like to see a process where it could be discussed, but I don't think it should be first hit, first gets. I mean, like qualifications, everything gets thrown out the window. It goes to first hit, first get. And I don't think that's fair.
Okay.
Commissioner Wilson?
I was going to say, and that didn't even work for me, because I had somebody that was really interested, and remember, that's when this came up, was, oh, this is unfair, and my poor she had really, waited for a couple of years for this opening. So that didn't even work because the lobbyists won out at the end that day. But I think that the issue, if there's an arbitrary way to still do it in an efficient way, and we had said, okay, what would be an arbitrary way? And I believe Cheryl recommended maybe even doing this alphabetical order. Now, I'm a Wilson, so typically I don't like alpha order. But it's arbitrary, right? So at the very least, if that happens, you do have resumes in front of you, and it is there is a way to walk down it saying, look, there is no value placement on this, it's just alpha order. So I thought that was a reasonable way to keep it kind of orderly and consistent, and I would support that.
Commissioner Moore,
I agree with Commissioner Wilson.
Commissioner Gomez-Cordero.
Mayor, I like the way Commissioner Bonilla presented it, because it's not about them being the first or so that way we don't put that in there. So it would be you asking for each of us, the name, whatever have the first for a vote,
So I
that's
think that's
it.
what she's, I think that's what
No,
they're saying with the alpha
No,
order.
she was saying alphabetical order. Yeah, no.
I mean, with the alpha order, just because your name
it's
is
first.
A doesn't mean you get
Yeah,
it,
but it
right? That's
comes
not
the
what
same
you're
thing.
saying.
Mayor,
No,
but it's the same
she's
thing.
saying for the discussion, I think that's what she's saying.
Well, she said
There has to be an
alphabetical order.
There has to be an order of approval or not, right? So you've got to figure out something that is, I think, for me, ballot doesn't feel transparent enough.
No.
It's another layer.
No,
Sir, if you
no,
call out-
no ballot, no ballot.
No ballot, you call out the name, let's say there's 3 people sitting there, they're all being nominated. Commissioner Bonilla, who do you pick? I pick B. Commissioner
Commissioner-
Gomez Cordero. who
I
do you
pick A.
I pick A.
I'm
And
just
then
for say the
you know,
name, you know?
And then whoever
Exactly,
whoever
the-
gets the most votes at that
The
time.
first, yeah, the
Whoever
4
gets the most
votes.
votes.
And that way, we are the one who,
So we
See,
would
we
at
don't-
least call the name
Yes.
by alpha order.
No, not by alphabetical
Mayor,
order.
you don't have to
Well,
call the name. We will
So
know the
there
name
is no
already.
order.
You will know.
And yes, we will know the name already. You will say, Commissioner Wilson. Commissioner Wilson will say, A. And then Commissioner Moore, C. Commissioner Uribe, A. And then you, A. And then I, A. Well, A win. You see what I'm saying? So it's not by alphabetical order, it's by us saying who we want to vote for. And that's it. And that's easy. Nobody feels bad, because that was terrible the last time. Sorry.
Cheryl looks like she's going to give us.
Cheryl, I don't know, you understand this,
Yeah,
the
it's an
mechanics of
easy,
how that
simple
will
thing.
work?
Well, if I'm understanding what Commissioner Gomez-Cordero is saying, is that would they be listed in alphabetical order, and then you would just go down the line to see?
We vote. We have the names there and we vote. And that way, they don't feel bad. We want to make them feel good, and when that comes, it's bad. Because then, if we
Somebody's
have
not
3,
gonna get it.
I know, but if we have 3, right, 3 candidates, and then in the first one, well, the first one win, then the other 2. No, let us
somebody's gonna
up.
feel
I know, but it's just us.
So the way it is now,
It's
it's
easy.
like we're voting on one person at a time. What we're saying is just vote on all of them at the
We
same
We got it,
time.
Cheryl, we got it.
You want to.
You got it?
What happens when you don't
But Jeff
get?
needs,
You
Oh.
want to eliminate the race to the button. Okay. So if you have a pool, almost like a pool of all of the nominees, and then each of you will have an opportunity to speak about whatever person you think should be nominated. And it's going to be whoever gets the 4 first.
But that's not
If you
the
don't get the
voting.
first
Still
one,
gonna
you gotta
be.
go back
No,
around.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, it's still going to be whoever gets the 4 first, even,
Oh, yes.
at some point.
4 votes. Well,
Yeah, 4 votes, 4 votes,
yeah.
yeah. It may not happen, right.
It may not happen, so that's where elimination comes.
And you'll just keep going until such time that one person
Is
gets
it the
Yeah.
4 votes or the
majority of right.
who's
It may,
present?
if you only got 5 folks here, it'll be 3
Right.
votes.
Okay.
You only got
All
3
right,
folks here, it'll
Cheryl,
be
you
2
got
votes.
that?
That's it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So there we go. That's the feedback you got. I don't know, do we need a motion on this, Jeffrey?
So going forward, though, you still want the memo to list, you still want the nominations ahead of time, and then they'll all be listed in
Correct.
That's good.
alphabetical
Yes.
order?
and
All
so
right.
Mayor, yes, Jeff needs a motion, but actually, the board, this is from the rules, of the process procedures. It's going to have to be amended. As well, and then that would come back to the board
for the
I
amendment.
don't have, when you get it
Yeah.
back.
Wow, think through this one. Let's see, this is November, let's say January.
Okay.
Okay. You're saying we need to bring it back for the action?
Yeah,
Will
amendment.
be,
It can be on consent agenda
agrees with
or
the way it's
discussion.
been written.
Consent.
All right, bring it back for consent agenda and do the briefings.